Hello and welcome to Wisdom Forge. The brain's memory pathways, how information is encoded, stored, and retrieved. Introduction to memory storage pathways. When new information enters the brain, it doesn't get stored in a single, centralized location like a computer's hard drive. Instead, the brain uses the same neural pathways that initially process the information to also store it. This means memories are scattered across different regions of the brain, with each area contributing a piece of the overall memory. For example, the visual cortex stores what we see, the auditory cortex retains sounds, and the emotional centers preserve feelings associated with the experience. This decentralized storage system explains why recalling a memory often feels like reconstructing a puzzle. Each fragment must be reassembled to form a complete picture. The pathway analogy for memory formation. A helpful way to understand memory storage is through an analogy involving a university campus. Imagine a school that delays building sidewalks until students naturally create dirt paths by walking across the grass. These informal trails reveal the most efficient routes between buildings. Only after observing these patterns does the administration pave permanent walkways. Similarly, the brain's initial neural activity when learning something new, like forming temporary dirt paths, eventually solidifies into long-term memory, the permanent sidewalks. This process highlights why the first moments of learning are crucial. They determine how effectively information will be stored and retrieved later. The importance of strong encoding for lasting memory. The way information is initially processed, known as encoding, plays a major role in how well it is remembered later. High-quality encoding occurs when learning is elaborate, meaningful, and tied to real-world experiences. Think of it like adding multiple handles to a door. The more ways you have to access the information, through visuals, emotions, personal connections, etc., the easier it is to retrieve later. For example, a student who connects a history lesson to a personal story will remember it better than someone who merely memorizes dates. This principle explains why deep understanding leads to stronger memories than rote repetition. Making learning meaningful for better retention. One of the most effective ways to enhance memory is by ensuring the learner truly understands the meaning behind the information. Abstract facts are easily forgotten, but concepts tied to real-world examples or personal experiences stick much longer. Research shows that students who study material with relevant examples recall it far better than those who focus on superficial details. For instance, reading about economics is more memorable when illustrated with everyday scenarios like budgeting for groceries. This approach works because the brain naturally seeks patterns and connections. Meaningful information fits into existing mental frameworks, making it easier to store and retrieve. The power of a strong introduction in learning. First impressions matter immensely in memory formation. A dramatic or emotionally engaging introduction to new material makes it far more likely to be remembered. Studies in education and public speaking confirm that audiences retain information better when it's presented in a compelling way from the start. For example, a teacher who begins a lesson with a surprising demonstration, like a science experiment, captures students' attention and strengthens encoding. This effect occurs because the brain prioritizes novel and emotionally charged experiences, embedding them deeper into memory. The role of environment in memory encoding and recall. Memory is context-dependent, meaning the environment where learning occurs can influence how well information is later recalled. Familiar settings create additional handles for retrieval by linking the material to sensory cues like sounds, smells, or visuals. For example, students who study in a quiet library may recall information better in similar quiet conditions. Some language learners even designate a Spanish-only room to reinforce vocabulary through consistent environmental triggers. This principle suggests that recreating the original learning environment can boost memory performance during tests or presentations. Working memory, the brain's temporary workspace. After encoding, information enters working memory, a temporary mental workspace where the brain actively processes and manipulates new data. Unlike long-term storage, working memory has limited capacity and duration, holding only a few items for seconds or minutes. It consists of specialized subsystems, one for auditory information, like remembering a phone number, another for visual spatial tasks, like navigating a map, and a central executive that coordinates them. Chess masters, for example, rely heavily on working memory to visualize multiple boards simultaneously. However, unless reinforced, most working memories fade quickly, emphasizing the need for strategies like repetition or chunking to transfer them into long-term storage. The critical role of consolidation in long-term memory. For memories to last, they must undergo consolidation, a process where fragile, short-term traces stabilize into durable long-term storage. This involves structural changes in the brain, such as strengthened synaptic connections. The case of patient HM, who lost his ability to form new long-term memories after brain surgery, underscores consolidation's importance. While he could hold conversations, using working memory, he couldn't remember them later. Interestingly, even long-term memories aren't permanently fixed. Each time we recall them, they return to a flexible state, reconsolidation, requiring reinforcement to persist. This explains why periodic review is essential for lasting retention. Reconsolidation, why memories evolve over time. Contrary to old beliefs, long-term memories aren't static. Each time we retrieve a memory, it becomes temporarily unstable and must be reconsolidated. This means our recollections can subtly change with each recall, influenced by new contexts or emotions. For example, a childhood memory might feel different when recalled as an adult. This plasticity has implications for learning. Revisiting material periodically, spaced repetition, strengthens memories, while infrequent review allows distortions or forgetting. Understanding reconsolidation highlights why continuous engagement with knowledge, through teaching, discussion, or application, is key to maintaining accurate, long-term retention. Thank you, and let's stay connected. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. If you found this video valuable, imagine what you'll learn next. Subscribe to Wisdom Forge and hit the bell icon so you never miss more thought-provoking content, practical wisdom for everyday life, the tools to unlock your full potential. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway or what topics you'd like to see next. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning.